Hey, what's going on, guys? Geek Hustlers coming back at you with another video, and today we are going to be reviewing two special, really special items, and that is the Unchained Armor Superman and Armored Batman. And they were made by McFarlane. If you can't already tell, they've came out with these new DC figures that they've been advertising recently. Now, to me, so far, the line, I'm kind of mixed on it. There are certain figures that I do want, certain ones that I just don't want at all. Some of them look really bad, to be honest. They have really wonky portions. But I'm not going to give a history lesson on how I feel about McFarlane. To be honest, I'm actually kind of surprised that McFarlane even made these. These look way too good for them, to be honest. I'm not saying they're a terrible company. They've done some really amazing figures, but we all know how McFarlane can be when they don't try. So, time to go in. I'm starting with Batman first, since he's my favorite out of the two. I'm gonna say right off the bat, I like handling the Superman a lot more because Batman feels so painful to handle. And, oh, you gotta be joking. Superman can't even stand without Batman having to support him. Trying to get those two set up was a pain. Well, mainly Superman. Trying to get him set up was a pain. So, reviewing Batman, and of course, if you couldn't already tell, my favorite colors are red, obviously, along with black. I like both of those colors mixed in with each other. Not only that, yeah, man, it just looks really good on Batman. So let's get him out of this pose. And of course, you know how we do, man. We talk about sculpt, articulation, as well as the accessories. Accessories. Might as well just say what Batman has now, and it's just these two wings. That's pretty much it. And I'm gonna be honest, the wings suck big time. I am not a fan of the wings. I don't like the wings. They look cool. They do look cool, but I don't like the wings. I don't like the wings. Handling them is a pain. Not too much of a pain, but they just have this really cheap look, and that's not even how they looked in the comics. It was pretty much like this cape, if you can see that right over there on the box. So yeah, man, I don't really care about those wings. I'm good. I'll still pose them on my shelf, of course, but I just don't really like those wings too much. So that's pretty much it for accessories. There are no interchangeable hands, unfortunately. No really anything that comes with this awesome big piece of plastic right here. So I'll just jump right into the sculpt. And right off the bat, I don't have any complaints with the sculpt. The paint job is pretty much flawless. There really isn't any like paint errors anywhere. The QC is really good. And that's pretty surprising because McFarlane, oh man, I don't want to go on this tangent about Rossi McFarlane, but man, if you've seen their past work, their paint jobs are just awful on some of their figures, man, especially their anime figures. Don't even want to get into that. But yeah, man, the paint job on here is surprisingly really good. I don't have any problems with mine, and I haven't seen anybody else have problems with the QC on theirs either. So the talismans have like these scratches, the shoulder pads, the spikes, man. I mean, uncomfortable to articulate because, you know, this is a really sharp figure, man. And, like, I'm already poking my finger, like articulating with messing with the hand. So there's that. The red looks really good on the bat symbol right here. The belt, I'm not too much of a fan of how the look of the belt, and that's just me being a nitpicky Batman fan. It's not bad. I would have sculpted it differently if I was a professional figure sculptor. So, that's just a subjective thing for me. Objectively, the paint job looks really pretty much perfect. I don't have any issues with that. I mean, the little pegs in between the knees or thighs, lower part of the thighs or whatever, isn't painted red, but who cares about that? Like, the pegs don't need to be painted. That really doesn't even matter. Like, the paint job on the helmet, there are really no paint errors on the helmet. The type of plastic they used is really high quality. It looks and feels amazing. So I'm gonna give the sculpt like gotta give it a 10. Have to give the sculpt a 10. Well, no. Actually, no, scratch that. 9.5. Just because of the wings. Those wings suck, and they're not even accurate to the art right there from the comic. I don't know which point of the comic those I mean this armor showed up. I have no idea. I don't read modern Batman comics. Maybe it's an old suit, maybe it's a new suit. I don't know, don't care. So moving on. Yeah, man. Sculpt is like 9.5 out of 10. I have no complaints about it, except for this little complaint with the belt, but again, just me being a nitpicky Batman fan. This looks sick. This looks sick. I especially like how the visor looks. So next up, we'll talk about the articulation, which is going to be the hardest part for me, man. Really painful to handle, man. The shoulder pads move inward and outward, move a little bit to the left and right. You can get some movement out of there, almost like he's deactivating the suit, about to step out of it. That's pretty cool. Of course, elbow articulation, really, really tight. You got some really, really, really nice range of motion here when it comes to the bicep joint as well. That moves all around with no problems whatsoever. Doesn't feel limited. Butterfly joint is kind of limited, but I mean, you can kind of move it a little bit. It sucks. Butterfly joints suck. I hate to be negative with this figure, man, but butterfly joints, they don't give you anything. What you see is what you get with that. Wrist articulation makes up for it, and you can also move I think you can move the hands inward and outward. Yeah, you kind of can. Yeah, you can. So, yeah, there we go. That's kind of cool. That's cool. You can make the wrists go back and forth as well. Wrist articulation is fairly decent, pretty solid. There's no thighs. No, there's not really any thigh swivel. There's no ball peg holding the thigh together. From right here, it's inside of the torso right here. If you can kind of see that, yeah, should be able to see that. So, thigh articulation is good. He can do the splits. All right, there we go. So that works, and knee articulation is also kind of hindered a little bit. You can't really go further than this. This is as far as you're going, buddy. It's good for what it is. You got the toe hinge. You got a slight ankle pivot. Ankle pivot is not really going to do you much any favors when it comes to articulating this. You're not really going to be getting much out of the ankle pivot, but for what it is, it's a basic ankle pivot. I haven't had any trouble handling it. Same thing with the right leg. I don't have any loose joints on mine, which is pretty much unheard of when it comes to these figures, man. Head articulation sucks big time for Batman. I mean, you can kind of get it going. Man, it feels weird. It feels like I'm almost going to break it. I don't think I will. If I take the head off by accident, I'm pretty sure it can pop back on. But you can't make it go down or up like at all. You can't do it at all. You can kind of do it, but he doesn't look up. Mainly because of how the neck is designed. Like, you see all those restrictions on the back of his neck. Come on, focus. There we go. Like, look at the nape of his neck. Like, I applaud McFarlane, surprisingly, for the effort and the detail and the time that they put in. But, you can't really do much when it comes to having the head look up. So, there's that. And, man, articulation gets about, I give it like a 9 out of 10. Just because, butterfly joint is weak. Head articulation is kind of limited. Same thing with the knee articulation. This is as far as you're going to go. Man, but other than that, articulation is solid. I give it like a 9 out of 10. And, that's all I got to say about Batman. And this is a solid 9 out of 10 figure when it all comes down. You don't have any interchangeable hands, no accessories other than those crappy wings right there. They look cool, sure, but, I mean, I can understand why some people really don't care for those. Color's good. QC is really, really good. And, man, it is great to see McFarlane stepping their game up, man. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about the Batman. I'll give him a 9 out of 10. So, that's it for him. Next, I'm going to do Soups, the Caped Crusader. Wait a minute. Batman's a Caped Crusader, not Superman. No. I can't come back from that one. But, I'm going to say that Superman's wings are way, way better than Batman's wings. They're okay. Handling them when it comes to the articulation right here, it's kind of weird. It doesn't really feel natural or comfortable for me. But, they work, whatever. They're fine. They can go up and down, just like those wings. I think I forgot to mention that. But, you can kind of pose them like he's about to take off. So, yeah. the wings are good for Superman. Way better than Batman's for sure. They also look like they fit with the the part of the shoulders right here, the parts of the shoulders. They look really, really good. And can I just say, these armors look like they come from Injustice 2 or something, like, or Injustice 1. That's what these armors look like, because if you play those games, NetherRealms, you can kind of customize, well, mainly in part 2, you can't do it in part 1. You can customize the characters and put like different parts of armor on them. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So might as well get started with the sculpt. And again, just like Batman, Superman's sculpt is absolutely amazing. Looks really close to the artwork that they have on the back. He's missing something that should be on his wrists. I don't know what those are. I've never seen this appear in the comics. Apparently, it showed up in the comics once. I don't know. If anybody cares to tell me in the comments when he wore these, wore this armor in the comics, you can tell me, or I can just Google it for myself. Doesn't really matter. But other than that, sculpt looks amazing. Oh my god, the sculpt looks really, really good. I actually kind of like the Superman a little bit more better than the Batman when it comes to handling it, because you don't sharp up, scratch up your fingers with how pointing the details are, and that's just not the case with this particular figure. That's the case with him for sure. But yeah, again, QC is really good. Detail, sculpt looks incredible. You can see the linings that they put on the detail right here. That looks really, really good. Back of the thighs, and just his back in general. There's a lot of detail put on this suit. Not only that, but they also did a really, really good job with the symbol right here, man. That looks really, really, really good. Dang, this is really good. Now, I mean, if you don't prefer the anime look, the Super Sentai look around the helmet, I can understand. I personally like it. I think it looks cool. I'm definitely cool with the anime look around the Super Sentai helmet right here. I guess this is what it really looked like in the comics. I like it. It looks really, really cool. But I can understand if some people may not be into that. But yeah, man, that's all I got to say about the sculpt and the quality control. Really, really, really good. I don't have anything to say about that. So, man, this would be about like, it would have to be a 10. I believe I gave Batman's a 10 as well. So I would have to give it a 10. Mainly due to the fact, oh yeah, and the belt is really good. I like how they did the belt. Really like how they did the belt. Not only that, but nothing really gets in your way when it comes to holding the figure. Kind of like him. Like I said before, there aren't really a bunch of sharp details that'll like scratch up your finger. So sculpt is like a 10. Next up, we're going into the articulation. Of course, elbow joint does exactly what it needs to do. Goes inward and outward. Bicep joint is really, really good. Joints are not loose. Joints are nice and tight. You can hear those noises as I'm moving them. Wrist articulation is a little limited because of these wrists, these gauntlets that he has. That's kind of disappointing. But you can kind of work around it because, yeah, you can still move it around, but you can't make it go up. His hands are not going to go up. So, yeah, it's kind of a bummer, but whatever is what it is. Waist articulation for both figures, actually, is kind of limited, but, it still gets the job done. While I was posing both of them, I was able to do what I needed to do with the waist articulation. Did I just say waist? God, no text, staying in. Elbow, not the elbow. Knees are kind of just as limited as Batman's knees, but it's basic run of the mill. I don't know if they're double jointed. I don't think they're double jointed. Basic run of the mill knee articulation does exactly what you need. The ankle pivot is definitely a lot worse than Batman's. You can't do anything with the ankle pivot. That mess is locked down and restricted. So unfortunately, ankle pivot sucks. Can't really do anything with that. He has like little to no ankle articulation at all. Toe hinge is really good. That works. And thighs can go like this, so he can do the splits. There's that. So you can kind of get him into kick poses if you choose to. So yeah, you can do that. I don't know how well he's gonna stand because Superman kind of has trouble standing. And I hate that, man. I think it's because of the pelvic accessories that they put right there, which look great, but they, you know, there's some sacrifices that had to be made when it came to standing him and the ankle articulation not being that good. But other than that, I'll give the articulation and like a 9.5 out of 10, which is 9.5, of course. Ankle articulation is definitely a letdown. Wrist articulation is a little restricted because of these gauntlets right here. But the half comes from the cape accessory, well, the wings. Those are actually pretty good when it comes to articulating those. So I don't have anything negative to say about those. And yeah, that'd be about it. I'll give the articulation like a 9.5 out of 10, as well as the sculpt being a perfect 10 out of 10. Same thing with the Batman. Like the sculpt, there's no paint errors on this one either. Same thing with no loose joints. There is none of that. So that's about it. Would I recommend these figures? Absolutely, definitely. I would definitely recommend these figures. If you're not into the looks, even if you're a Batman fan, like I don't know why you wouldn't be into that particular look of Batman, but if you're not into the armored suit thing, whatever, that's fine, your opinion, but yeah, I definitely recommend these figures for sure. The price point is like $26.99 from what I remember from what I paid at GameStop. I saw them at GameStop. Obviously, they're hitting Walmart stores as well. I'm pretty sure they told everybody that as they were announcing these figures, Todd McFarlane and everybody else who was advertising these figures. So yeah, man, I would recommend these figures. I would be careful about this line, man. Some of the DC McFarlane figures just look like crap, man. If you want them, that's fine. Your money. I'm just giving my opinion, my 2 cents, being honest about it. So that's about all for today, for now. And catch you next time on Geek Hustlers. Comment down below if you want to. Subscribe, hit the notification bell for more, and see you next time.